Good morning, folks. Really feeling good today. I'm inspired to talk to you guys about the exit plan. Today we're going to talk about that. And I've talked about that in previous videos, and I've stressed that to you guys that it's very important for you to formulate this plan when you're in a toxic workplace environment and to proceed on getting out of that place. That's what this is about. So, really, actually, one of my friends, a good friend of mine, I've been talking to for a while. They've been going through some problems on the job. You know, they've been really trying to keep faith about the positives that were coming out of this or whatever. But it was breaking them down. And, you know, they wanted to seek another job in their organization. But due to the narcissistic environment, they didn't know how to leverage themselves because, you know, these games and these smear campaigns and stuff. And they knew that it was going to be an uphill battle, but they kept their faith. Okay? And so they were able to secure, you know, they were able to secure a relationship with some other department. And it's a prospect, a possibility, you know, of them, you know, moving into this department. It'll be newer ground, and it'll be a firmer foundation for these folks. So I'm very happy for them because they were very happy about the idea of maybe doing this thing. Which is why I'm talking to you guys today. The positivity that you keep in these situations. Sometimes, you know, it's a really daunting task to have to search for another job, especially if you don't follow that exit plan and you don't figure one out and you get fired, you know, by these narcissists before you even have a chance to escape from this environment, which happens a lot. And if they had their way, it would go down just like that because they're only in this to discredit you, defame you, or whatever they're doing. So they're going to break you down, and if you don't have a job when this is all said and done, that'll be the best reward they could get, right? If you're in a situation where you're scrambling to try to find work somewhere, you know, you may lose your benefits or something. They're looking for these things, okay? So they're going to, you know, I always talked about keeping those cards close to your chest for a reason. You know, if you have a close confidant at your job, someone you work with that you can really trust, not a flying monkey, right? Not someone who has allegiances to the master planners or narcs or other flying monkeys. Because you have to understand, folks, in their spirit, these people have low-level spirits, right? They have that demon flu I always talk about. And so they will guaranteed tell anyone, right, who they believe could stop your plans. You don't want to talk to anybody and everyone about what you want to do because you have people who literally sit around and contemplate your demise. And that energy is something you'll have to contend with. Even though they'll get their karma for those energies, you're still going to have to contend with that. And they're going to let that energy take them over to in such a place that they're going to be willing to physically go to someone else or go somewhere so they can stop you. Literally, they'll be that proverbial person, you know, with the picket sign blocking you from getting past them or something. They'll be that person. So I want you guys to understand that you're going to fight an uphill battle. Once you're a target, the games will become ramped up. I talked to you guys about how the game may start off in subtle ways. You're playing this game. They may change your schedule around, or a mild change in your schedule. Maybe they want you to work a couple of hours later. Maybe they're working you 7 days consistently straight without having a day off or something. It starts out like that. But when they still can't get their supply, folks, right? It's like a junkie looking for a fix. They will smack their arm. They will fucking sweat it out. They will do all types of stuff to get this fix, right? So then they will have to ramp the game up because you're not seeming to respond to all of the bullshit they're throwing in your path. You're not giving them any reactions. They can't feed, right? These vampires need that. So, you know, they throw these things in your way, and you're sitting there trying to figure out how to get around the obstacles. Okay? So what you want to do is when you keep those cards close to your chest, because I'm going around in circles here, but when you keep those cards close to your chest, what you're doing is you're saying, you're understanding the toxic element that you're dealing with, and you're just like a spy, right? And you know, they'll ramp that game up so much, right, that, you know, that because you're being that spy, you're not letting on what's going on. They know something's going on with you. You're seen to be upbeat, and you know, you're doing your job. You're not giving them any fuss. You're not making any protest about something, and they know something's not right. Right? Is he trying to leave? Is he trying to? So they got their radar open for that. So they'll ramp this game up on a level where it'll get to a point where they'll start making up rules just for one person. So a whole department, because you have a bunch of flying monkeys and low people with low intelligence, none of them will realize this doesn't make any sense. And I've given you guys, you know, other examples in the past about, you know, how maybe they'll switch this whole shift around. Everyone who works in the morning, who's been at this job for 15 years or something, working a 7 to something shift or 8 to 5 or something, they will switch that shift around and have all of those people work at night and have the night people work in the morning. Now, what does this do? Well, it does two things. The narcs are working together. Maybe that night supervisor or that morning supervisor are coordinating, right, for more food. They're working together, just like a hunt, just like lions in a pack or something, lionesses or something. They're working together to try to secure a target and secure a meal. So the night shift person, because they're a narc boss, they want to hurt everyone on the night shift. The morning shift person, because they're a narc boss, they want to destroy everyone on the morning shift. You get what I'm saying? So they'll get together in these little secret clandestine meetings somewhere, and they'll arrange and orchestrate and do all of this evil and plot out you guys' demises. So maybe each one of them in their respective departments have one particular target that they feed off of that gives them that main supply. And they're trying to disenfranchise that one particular person. See? So in these cases, that night shift manager is making that person who works at night, who probably has kids to take care of in the day or whatever, they're putting them in a situation where that person now has to change their whole life around. You get what I'm saying? And vice versa for the morning shift. See? They'll have one particular person. Everyone on the morning shift, all 10, 15, 20 people will have to work at night now. And vice versa. And they won't say, that's insane. We already work here in the morning. We already are doing the jobs. Why would you make us do someone else's? Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. But the narcissist does not have to make any sense in their own minds. If they want to hurt you, anything is on the table. Even if it makes no logical sense, or even if it makes no good business sense. And because there's a seriously toxic environment here, the higher ups, the people that have to approve these departmental changes, they will just green light the shit. They won't even question because they all work together. They understand. They kind of empathize for the lower narcs. They know that they need to eat too. So in their mind, they're smart enough, they're clever enough to know that this is a game, but they want you to eat, right? They're throwing you some scraps. I know you need to feed. I know you got victims, because they have victims too. And some of those narcissists are probably their victims, right? And I spoke about this before, about what are weasel-faced dogs. Weasel-faced dogs are merely narcissists, flying monkeys, deputized flying monkeys, or if you want to look at it from another perspective, they're narcs, they're lower junior narcs, right? Who want to achieve high status in narcsmanship or some shit, right? Flying monkeys are interchangeable. That's why they're called, weasel-faced dogs are interchangeable. And that's why they're called weasel-faced dogs. Because they're narcissists, yes, but they can become flying monkeys on the spot depending on how big that bigger narcissist is. I keep telling you guys this. And you'll watch them shift from one role to another like they're changing hats and masks and shit. But they'll do this stuff. So that game will get ramped up until the fact they change your shift altogether, and then you are forced to either suffer, which they will enjoy watching you every day, or quit, which they will enjoy, because if you don't have that exit plan, folks, which is why we're talking about this, if you didn't have that in place, right, then now you're displaced. Now you have to try to figure out where to get a decent, suitable means of income that's going to cover all of the bases that you previously covered, your insurance, kids, all of these things factor, because their plans are set. They already have their jobs, and they think narrow-mindedly about their own lives. They don't realize that their lives are not promised. So they come to work every day thinking, well, I'm going to play this game and I'm going to keep playing it because it's something to do. No one's going to put their feet to the fire. No one's going to make them work hard or be accountable for anything. They'll mess money up. They'll steal raises. They'll do all types of shit, folks. Right? Now, once you get to a place where you're in this environment and you have had enough, you have to be surgical about how you go about removing yourself from this environment. You can't just be a bull in a china shop, because if you make too much noise, they're gonna sick the dogs out. They're gonna send them out on your ass. The flying monkeys will be on their broomsticks looking around and getting information and trying to put words in people's ears and all that stuff. So you want to move like a stealth ninja. You want to move like a spy, like I was talking about earlier. When you get into this other camp, you're going to disclose the information and you're going to keep it very confidential as much as you can. Now, some environments, they all spill information and stuff leaks anyway. I've seen this in my own life. So you may have a little bit of information getting out, but you want to move in such a way that you're proactive in every movement. When you're talking to that person, you're trying to set up or secure that next department. When you're talking to that next department, you're trying to secure when other people are going out. You're doing things, you're doing your homework, folks. You're beefing up on education. You're going back to school. You're fucking going online getting degrees. You're doing whatever you have to do to meet those requirements to move into the other department. So they can't deny you. See, this is the part that's important, folks. It's not just about saying, fuck these people, I'm hurting and I want to go. You have to be smart in this with this exit strategy. You know, this is how you're going to pay your bills, folks, so it's that serious. You have to take it deadly serious. These people are out for blood. They will crush you in life if they have the opportunity. The devil is always working, folks. Okay? So I want you guys to remember that, okay? And you're going to follow up just like that and do everything that I specified, right? And you may not get that job, but what you're going to do is you're going to keep applying, because as long as you keep your nose to the grind and you do your job and you don't get in these problems, they can't make a foul on you, then at some point the door has to open. If you're working for this organization, you may make more than the department that you're trying to go to. So that looks crazy that I'm denying you any kind of entry. If you've been there, you've shown, you've proven yourself, you've been to work. You know, you should be able to move or advance into any spot that you want. And there may be some competition or some competitive factors, but don't let that stop you. Don't let that deter you. Once you get your mind solidified about a plan and how you're going to go about, you have to try to implement that plan, or it'll never happen, or you'll end up 15 years from now or 5 years from now looking at these same flying monkey bosses. You may be in a lower end job, manual labor or something, and you'll realize 5 years from now, these people are breaking my back. They're working me to death. They're not giving me raises. They're stealing my money. All of the stuff you will see that will force you into a mode of self-preservation. I got to get out. It's not about being selfish. You don't owe these people anything. If they're feeding off of you, you're tired of being a fucking, meal. And this is about fixing that in your own lives. You have to take responsibility. You have to be strong. You have to be putting your nose to the ground. You have to be willing to do these things. Move in stealth, folks. Understand that who you're dealing with. That's one of the laws of power. Always know who you're dealing with. I don't know what number, it doesn't matter. But you need in life, always know who you're dealing with. The people who can hurt you. The people who are demonic or demoniacs, like what I like to call them. Okay? You have to be thinking about the evil-hearted, evil-spirited people who just want to disenfranchise anyone and hurt somebody and see the hurt on that person's face and see it in their lives and enjoy that like a meal. Right? Because higher energy will deal with those people. And that's what I want you guys to conclude this talk, this discussion. Do not seek revenge. Revenge is in your heart of you knowing you're going to do better. Right? Keep the higher relationship to higher energy. Keep it to yourself as far as what you want to do and how you want to better yourself. Don't make it about another person. I did a previous video about, these co-workers who also send you to the same place because they'll consistently worry about what you're doing on your job. Even though you could be doing anything. You could be digging ditches somewhere. And they have no idea what you're doing, but because they're jealous of you, and that jealousy and envy are those two strong negative low emotions that rule in that lower class of emotions that make people do everything they do. So because they're jealous of you and because they think you have this or that, you'll find yourself losing money because they're saying, why are you getting paid this and not me? You'll find yourself, and you're doing the job and they're not. You'll find yourselves them jealous of your shift. You got your job 20 years ago. You started working a shift from 8 to 5. These people got hired 3 days ago and their shift was 11 to 7, and they want morning shifts, and you got that shift. So what do? They go to the boss and they complain and campaign about why you get off every morning. Even though they're grown-ups and they got hired to work that shift on the job. That doesn't even make any logical sense, but I'm trying to show you they're just like children, folks. They're such big-ass petulant children that they would throw a fit and a tantrum and want something that they don't deserve. How in the hell are you going to get a job and after 3 days, you feel like you're entitled to work my shift that I put in for 20 years to work? I'm trying to show you people that shit will piss you off. Now, let's get to the game. Because this is a huge game being played and everyone works together and can coordinate in this game to make sure everyone eats and their meal is afforded to everyone. The master planners, when they feel generous, they'll let everyone eat. So they'll set it up in such a way that they actually entertain this food, right? You know, I've done a video a while back called The New Narcissist on Your Job or something like that. Y'all go look for that video or some similar title like that in my archive, and you'll find this video about this very person who does this stuff. But they'll ramp it up. They're flying monkeys or junior narcissists, and they have that same killer instinct, and they'll ramp it up and talk about you and campaign about what you're not doing and why they should have your shift and everything until they get it. And the bosses, if they feel like this may really hurt you, they will literally give it to this person. After 20 years, they'll look you in your face and they'll say, yeah, we're going to switch your shift around because so-and-so wants to work your shift. It doesn't even make any sense. They wouldn't do it in reverse. If you wanted something, they wouldn't give it to you. You'll find this breakdown in many ways, folks. You may have a parking lot at your job or something, special parking for special departments or something. And you'll have that coworker or that person in another department who for the many years they work there know that that's the rule. There's a big parking lot. There's a huge lot that everyone can park anywhere they want. But because you may have a selective job where you park in a certain area because that's your job, literally from day one, you've been ushered into the parking there and when they walk you through everything. So this is your parking space in this area. But these people will be jealous of the fact that you have this selective parking in this area and they'll campaign. And next thing you know, after you've been parking there for 20 years, your bosses will revoke your pass and tell you can't park there anymore. They're still parking there, right? They're still in the same department you are, but because that flying monkey wanted so badly to hurt you because they were so jealous, and the narcissistic master planners wanted to give them something to eat, throw them a morsel, they decide to be unfair and just take it away from you. Take your parking away. So now you gotta fucking walk up a hill or do some crazy shit that you hadn't done in 20 years because some other person wanted something that you have. It could be uniforms. You could work a manual job where maybe your company buys your uniforms. You'll have that one employee worrying about the fucking slacks you have on. They'll say, hey, why does he get to have those slacks and I don't? And they will protest like children. They're not worrying about the fact that the bosses are stealing money from them in bonuses and stuff that normal, grown, intelligent people would be thinking about. They're worrying about something like a child, which you have. And will literally, in some cases, come to your face and ask you to your face and don't even know your name, but will come up to you with anger, right? And inquisition and ask you about why you this or that. And you're looking at them like, I got hired to work this job. I worked this shift because I got hired on this shift 20 years ago. The shift you got hired at said it on your application when you were applying and you knew that. But because you're a flying monkey, because you know there's a game and you see the master planner maybe be susceptible to listening to you, you're going to ask and make a request that's not even fair. You're a fucking idiot. So when you guys are in these environments, understand that all these people work together to ramp the game up on you if you're a target. If you're that fly on the wall, eventually that bazooka will blow you off the wall. You get what I'm saying? They're not going to stop. The games do not stop. Okay? Also, I'll say one more thing about these master planning bosses. When they want to harm you, I told you narcissists are fucking batshit crazy. They will give you a clue when they're talking to you. They always do this. If they're going to hurt you down the line, they will give you some type of indication that it's coming. Right? And it won't make any sense to you. You'll be just talking to them. They'll say, oh yeah, next year, yeah, they got this so-and-so coming. And they'll make up something. You're like, we're already in the middle of summer. What are we talking about next year? But next year, if you're there, if you're not smart enough to know the bridge is about to go out, then you'll hang on and think everything's going to be okay. And then when that time comes, they'll switch your department around, or they'll fire you, or they'll have something planned that they were going to do anyway. They didn't want to tell you. It was about the game and hurting you. So you have to be 3, 5, 10, 11, 12, 15 steps ahead of these people at all times. Realize that they're shitbags, they're scumbags, and everything they do, every action, every word they say, everything that they do is in the mode of self-preservation for themselves or to play the game, which is still for themselves. Okay? So they will do whatever they got to do. It will never stop. If you're sitting there sticking your finger in the socket every day thinking that tomorrow they're going to act normal, and if they do act normal, that's part of the fucking love bombing phase. They're hoovering. You understand what I'm saying, folks? All of these are clinical terms that apply all over the world to these sick people, right? When you have dyslexia, when you have a certain condition, we can go somewhere else. Doesn't matter where we go on the earth and get someone else who has that, and you have mirror identical symptoms and characteristics of these conditions, which shows you that the narcissistic mind is literally a mind that is poisoned and has conditions to it. It's something wrong. So if you can watch other examples of people in life who have went through these things in their jobs in other countries, in Paris or wherever you want to name on this earth, where someone has worked somewhere and had to deal with the same thing. They may not even spoke in English. They may speak whatever language they're speaking, but it's the exact same energy and ideas going on in that narcissistic mind in that place, at that time. It's not going to stop. Do not keep coming to work saying, oh, this will get better. Somebody will get fired or something. No, your punk ass is going to get fired. You get what I'm saying? I love bad behavior, folks. But in the immortal words of Hannibal from the A-Team, I love it when a plan comes together. Because when you have that plan together, it may not materialize right away, but you know where you're going. You have a direction, and you'll eventually get there if you keep on striving for that goal. So like, share the videos, folks. Subscribe to my channel. Pick up my book, I Love Bad Behavior, which discusses these same types of fools and narcissists and malignant people that you have to deal with, toxics, you know. And you can get that book on Amazon as well. Go to my website, thinkbehavior.info, and pick that book up. Please do that today. So remember, guys, look on the upbeat side of things, right? Is the glass half empty? Is it half full? Right? It's half empty for you. And you're going to think about how you're going to keep those cards to your chest and throw those cards out at the appropriate times. You guys have played Uno, you've played poker, and all of these card games in your life. What make the idea and the understanding of those games apply in your active work lives, right? And then you're cooking with gas. See ya.